Hi, welcome to this Excel tutorial video, and today we're going to look at adding charts or graphs to our Excel worksheets. I'm going to show you how to insert a chart and make formatting changes, change away, show and hide different elements of the chart, how we can change colours and positions of our various elements. Then after we've done that, I'm going to then show you how we modify the chart with regards to data, removing parts of data, adding new columns and data, that sort of thing. This video was recorded in August 2021 using Excel 365. So on screen I've got some data that I'm going to use to create my chart. To create the chart, you've got to go to the Insert tab, and you've got this Charts section here. Loads and loads of options, loads of different types of designs that you can pick. So click on the little drop downs next to one of these, and you'll get kind of an initial type and then variations on that type. So for this data here, what Excel allows you to do is you can click on this recommended chart, and what that will Excel will take a look at the data you've got, and it will like say to you, okay, with that data, this is the best type of chart or charts that you should be using. So with this data, if I click on recommended charts, it says to me, alright, for that data you should be using one of these types of charts to get the best results. As it turns out, this is the type I wanted to use, but you aren't limited to that. You can then go to all charts and then pick one of these chart types here. So this all charts area here, basically on one screen, gives you all of these options that are in these drop downs here. So I'm going to click on this drop down here, and I want to select this clustered column chart. So I'll click on that, and by default it will say, right, I'm presuming this is the way you want your chart to work. This is text, so I'm going to guess that's going to go across the y-axis here, or the x-axis, well, whichever way that is. These are numbers, so we're going to go put the numbers up here, up and down here, and then we're going to have different bars for the different numbers. And that's, by default, that's kind of how it's going to look, and that's good, that's fine. Happy with that. When you've got this chart in place, there's lots and lots of different elements to this chart. So you've got the header element here. Each of these coloured columns are separate elements. So you've got the orange, and then you've got the blue, and as I select them, you'll see that this changes depending on what I've got selected, so between those two. Then this on the left hand side is an element, and this down the bottom here is an element, and these lines are elements, and then you've got this bit at the bottom. But that's not all. You've got more elements that you can pick from. So you've got this plus here. If you click on this plus, you've got more elements that you can pick. And if you hover over an element, you don't need to select it, just hover over it, you see the axis title appears. If we hover over data labels appears. So you see, you don't need to select it. If you just hover over it, it'll tell you the difference it's going to make if you selected that element. So let us think about adding data labels. Now, if I hover over data labels, it's going to add data labels to both columns, and actually that's not what I want. So let me just, if I click on this column here and I hover over data labels, it will add the data labels to just that column series. Or I click on this one and I hover over the data label and it will add it to that. So I click a tick, yeah, I'll put a tick on that, that's what I want to see. Then I've got this arrow here, and this gives you more options of where you want your data label to sit. And as you see, as I hover over them, it's going to visualize what it's going to look like should you select it. Then we can go to more options again. So like in anything with Excel, there's lots and lots of ways of customizing things. So if I go to more options, we're going to get a pane open up on the right hand side here. and this gives you an awful lot of options. So first of all, I've got these label options here, where we can make changes with the positions that we'd already kind of seen. We can change the whether it's going to say the name of the series, which in this case is value. We can change the formatting, so we can change the colours. We can change an outside line maybe, and if you put an outside line in, then what type of colours of the outside line, whether you wanted it heavy, whether you wanted it dashed and dotted, all sorts of options in here. I don't want to lie. So there's loads and loads of options that you can choose here. Then you've got, that's the label options. Then you can change the text as well. So you can go to the text and you can change how the text looks, add some sort of effect to the text if you wanted to. Lots and lots of options in here. Also, now we've got these things. Well, actually, now you've got this on the right hand side, this pane. As you select different elements, you then get different options here on the right hand side. So you can keep that open now, and you can click on that, and the options will change based on the element that you selected. And then within that, you can start making changes. So text options. Let us make the text red, and we can add a shadow to it, if that works. There you go. So loads of options. Now, also, if we let's think about this. If we right click one of these here, we can change the chart type. I think it is. This is it. So if we right click and change the chart type, we can change the full chart type to a different type if we want to. But the fact that we've got two sets of data, we've got the sales and we've got the value. If we go to this combo here, what we can do is you can say, right, okay, so we want the sales to be, we want the value to be the clustered combo, but we want the sales to be a line. And then we can click OK to that. So if we right click that again and choose change chart type, you see what you can just, you can alter these to be whatever it is you want them to be. So you aren't limited to having the same type for both series, for both sets of data. So I will now maybe select this, and this one will go back to this. Okay, that's how our chart looks. Whether we want it to look like that or not, there it is, that's how it looks. And then there's more formatting options in here where you can make different automatic styles that you can select, predetermined styles that Excel offers you to make it look a little bit different. Okay. So now what I want to do is I want to delete that. So if I just highlight that and then delete it, it'll disappear. Now let us create a chart again, but we're going to just use one of these sets of data rather than both. So if we go to data, if we go to insert and we go to this chart here, we can, if we go to select data, what we see here is on the left hand side we've got a series and we've got value, because that's what these two columns are. And then on the right hand side you've got this the names from our column A. So what we can do is, actually we don't want to see the sales, so we can remove the sales and we can just have the value, and there's the value. And then what we can do is you can go back to that and say, no, actually I meant to have the sales in there. So if we want to put the sales in there, we click add and we say our series name is called sales, and then we go to here and click on this little bit here. Now when you're doing that, you need to be careful, because I'm going to highlight this data here, but I don't know whether you noticed, before I highlighted that is what this text box had. It had this 1 in curly brackets. So as soon as I do this, it keeps that one in curly brackets and then puts a plus and then puts my range in. I don't want that. So I need to make sure that before I put anything in there, I need to make sure I delete that. Then I select my range, and then if I press enter, that should now put my range in there, and that looks good. And if I hover over it, you can see that that's value 68 and that value's 75 and that value's 65. So it looks like it's worked, and I'm quite happy with the results. If I click on select data, when I have value selected, it's got Hamlet, Hardfi, all of the entries in column A. But when I select sales, it's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it hasn't, although it's putting the values in, it hasn't, and although it looks correct, it hasn't properly associated those values with the entries in column A. So if I click edit for that, I'm going to say, okay, my axis label range is this, and then I click OK to that. Now both of these are correctly associated. It doesn't change how this looks, but they are now correctly associated with the values in column A. Now let's go back to select data and remove the value. So now we remove the value and we're just having this as our chart data. This is slightly easier now. So I think if I drag this across here, okay, so I'll just undo that. Right now this is our chart data, and if I wanted this next column here, because I've got these two columns highlighted, I can expand that. So that's nice and simple. There's an option as well. So although when I wanted to add the middle column, I went through the add route and made sure I got the right range. If you've got a range in play already, you can just add a column by dragging, or remove a column by dragging the other way, and that's nice and quick. You've got then at the top, when you select a chart like in Excel, if I select this cell here, I've got all of these tabs available to me. When I select a chart, 2 new tabs appear here. It's the same with a lot of things. When you select pivot tables and that sort of thing, you get new tabs that appear here. So I've got this new chart design tab, and I've got this format tab here, and really these offer the same options that we see on this right hand side here. They offer the same options that we see when we right click and we choose format chart area, or maybe if we click on this and we make changes here. All of these options that we see here are also available in these 2 new tabs here. So we can select one of these values here. We don't need to come to here to start making changes to change the color of it. We can change the color of it in here. So like in Excel, like I've said, in Excel there's lots and lots of different ways of doing the same sort of thing. So you can have this bit on the right hand side, this format pane open if you want, and you can make your changes in that, or you can close that down and you can make your changes using the format tab up here. I think that's all I'm going to cover in this video. I hope it was helpful. If you've got any feedback or any comments, it's all appreciated. Thanks very much for your time. See you next time.